during the St. Fourth service of the Right Reverend Dr. Fonki Samuel Foba. On Friday, May 24, 2024, a book titled The Moderator'S Memoir was launched. The book captures and narrates the story of young Samuel as he grew up.
We launched a memoir of the moderator, which is a chronicle actually of his achievements, of his life and his work in the church, capturing his childhood days, his pre-pastoral days, and above all, his moment as moderator leader of the church.
The memoir opened my mind a lot about who the moderator is. Hearing him talk about himself, about a part of his life that none of us knew, and then reading what others have written about him, and myself being a contributor to that memoir, I want to think this is a person who will be celebrated long even after he's gone from the PCC. Why is one controversial figure in the sense that the public sees him different from who he is. People say things that are not true about him, and I think if you want to know who he is, get to his memoir.
The book, made up of 408 pages, is divided into 4 different parts.
The first part is about his life, his childhood life up to the moment he joined the pastoral ministry and then rose to the level of the moderator of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon. The second part has to do with testimonies of various persons who had worked and related with him. The third part has to do with the different keynote addresses and Presbyterian Day messages he had presented. And this part carries the in-depth of his intellectual prowess and his erudite as someone who has read and is able to translate that theory into action. Now we move to the fourth part, which is a collection of photographs. You know, photos also tell a story. So by those photographs, you can build up a certain story about the various engagements he had been into to transform the church as the Lord had called him to do so.
The coordinator of the PCC Diaspora, Europe and the Gulf Missionary Area reviewed the moderator's memoir at the launch.
And if you followed me keenly, when I concluded, it was a bit more personal because I know the moderator from around the 90s when I was still a very young man and he came to work in my village in Boo. He is an outstanding personality, and to be honest, as I said, one of the greatest strengths of the moderator is his sense of humility and the way he connects so graciously and easily with people. He's like a father to me and a mentor to me. And when he became moderator, I wasn't here, but I've served under his leadership for 7 years. And I hold him at a very high esteem.
The area treasurer for the Northwest region and the parish pastor of Bujong Parish knew the moderator when he started his ministry as a young pastor in Boo and Tambulung respectively.
1993, during his wedding, which took place in Menchum. And since then, we have been appreciating him because he was so dynamic, not only because of religion, he also cajoled so many backsliders in his first parish, which was Boo. And I know him as somebody who blends tradition with Christianity.
I knew the moderator when he was my parish pastor while I was still a Sunday school child in Peace in Tamulum. And by God's special grace, I was called into the ministry, and I happened to begin my ministry in Akwaya, the place where he comes from. I think the Right Reverend Dr. Fonki Samuel has kept a legacy. I can describe it, a lasting legacy in the PCC. While he was still serving in Bonamusadi, he assisted pastors who were serving in difficult terrains with motorcycles.
His direct follower says their father had dedicated the young Samuel to become God's servant even when he resisted the call.
After his completion in GTHS Kumba, he was employed in a wood company. In fact, he refused to go to the seminary, but my father told him that he promised God that he is going to serve him. He went to Kumba, took all his things, and asked him to register into the competitive examination into the theological college, then in Yasuso. So when he wrote, he succeeded the written part, went for interview and succeeded. My father was so happy. And he went to Nyasuso. My father had nothing. When he was going to Nyasuso, my father did not have anything, even the transport to pay to Kumba, from Akwa to Kumba. But with God, he succeeded to reach school, and they were the batch that transferred the theological college to the theological seminary in Kumba. So after that, God has been using him the way that he wanted.
The Moderator's Memoir will give you a summary of who the Right Reverend Dr. Fonki Samuel Foba is, his groundbreaking sermons, keynote addresses, amongst others in writings and photographs. Get a copy and be inspired by the life of the Right Reverend Dr. Fonki Samuel Foba.